How did one of America's most influential spiritual leaders suddenly become the center of explosive internet rumors, whispers of investigations, and shocking claims that spread across social media like wildfire? Why were thousands of people suddenly asking the same terrifying question? Was T.D. Jakes really headed behind bars? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, who started the rumors in the first place? Because what happened next blurred the line between truth, speculation, and the terrifying power of the internet. For decades, T.D. Jakes built an empire that seemed untouchable. A preacher, a best-selling author, a businessman, a filmmaker, a motivational voice followed by millions across the world. To supporters, he wasn't just a pastor. He was a symbol of hope. From packed arenas to massive televised sermons, Jakes became one of the most recognizable religious figures in modern America. His church, the Potter's House, grew into a spiritual powerhouse, attracting celebrities, politicians, athletes, and everyday believers searching for healing and purpose. His sermons were emotional, powerful, sometimes deeply personal, and for years, his public image appeared remarkably strong. But in the digital age, no reputation stays protected forever, especially when rumors begin spreading faster than facts. At first, the whispers seemed small. A few online posts, a handful of suspicious videos, cryptic comments hidden deep inside live stream chats. Then suddenly, the algorithm took over. Short clips started circulating across TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Dramatic thumbnails appeared overnight. Headlines exploded with emotionally charged language. Some creators hinted at secret investigations. Others pushed far more shocking claims. And before long, millions of people were watching, sharing, speculating. As confusion spread online, one phrase began appearing everywhere: T.D. Jakes exposed. But exposed for what? That was the problem. Very few people seemed to know. Some posts referenced unnamed allegations. Others connected him to broader celebrity conspiracy theories already dominating social media conversations at the time. A growing number of internet users began building narratives from fragments, assumptions, and unrelated controversies. And slowly, the line between accusation and evidence started disappearing. That's what made the situation so dangerous. Because despite the viral claims, there was no confirmed public evidence showing that T.D. Jakes had been arrested, convicted, or officially sentenced to prison. Yet online, the rumors continued growing louder. Some critics began questioning his connections, influence, and relationships with high-profile public figures. Others accused internet creators of deliberately using sensationalism for views and engagement. Supporters immediately pushed back. Many defended Jakes passionately, calling the rumors reckless, defamatory, and spiritually motivated attacks against a powerful black religious leader. The internet became divided almost overnight. One side demanded answers. The other demanded proof. And somewhere in the middle, millions of confused viewers were trying to figure out what was actually real. That confusion only intensified because of the timing. Around the same period, social media was already obsessed with exposing celebrities, influencers, and powerful public figures. Every week seemed to bring another viral scandal, another leaked accusation, another dramatic downfall story. Audiences became addicted to the idea that every successful person must be hiding something. And in that environment, even unverified rumors could explode into global headlines within hours. What made the T.D. Jakes situation even more intense was the emotional contradiction surrounding his image. Here was a man who spent decades preaching faith, morality, healing, and accountability. So when accusations, even vague or unconfirmed ones, started circulating online, the reaction became deeply emotional. For some people, the rumors felt impossible to believe. For others, they felt almost irresistible to investigate. Psychologically, scandals involving religious leaders often trigger stronger emotional reactions than ordinary celebrity controversies. People don't just invest attention into spiritual figures. They invest trust, hope, identity. And when that trust appears threatened, even by speculation, emotions can spiral rapidly. That's exactly what happened here. YouTube channels began publishing dramatic, breakdown videos. Reaction streamers dissected every public appearance. Comment sections became battlegrounds filled with accusations, defenses, theories, and outrage. Then came the clips. Old interviews resurfaced. Out-of-context moments went viral. Body language analyses flooded social media. People started slowing down videos, reinterpreting statements, searching for hidden meanings where there may have been none at all. And suddenly, the rumors became bigger than the facts themselves. Even people who had never followed T.D. Jakes before were now seeing his name constantly attached to controversy. But beneath the noise, an important reality remained. Internet virality does not equal criminal guilt, and no official court ruling had confirmed the extreme claims being spread online. Though, that didn't stop the speculation. Because once public suspicion reaches a certain level, facts alone often struggle to catch up. And then something happened that made the situation even darker. The media started paying attention. Not necessarily because the claims were verified, but because the internet reaction had become impossible to ignore. Questions grew louder. Commentators became more aggressive. And behind the scenes, supporters feared something terrifying. That public perception was already changing forever, even before the truth was fully understood. But what happened next would push the controversy into an even more explosive phase. As interviews, online theories, and public backlash collided in ways nobody expected. The moment mainstream attention collided with internet speculation, everything changed. What had started as scattered online rumors surrounding T.D. Jakes suddenly evolved into a full-scale digital storm. Not because authorities announced criminal charges, not because a courtroom revealed shocking evidence, but because the internet had reached a dangerous tipping point, the moment where controversy becomes entertainment. And once that happens, reality can become almost impossible to separate from performance. As videos continued spreading across social media, content creators began competing for attention using increasingly dramatic titles. Hidden truths, secret connections, the fall of a giant. Is this the end? Every upload seemed more explosive than the last. Some creators openly admitted they were discussing online speculation rather than confirmed facts. Others blurred the distinction completely, presenting theories with emotional certainty despite lacking verified evidence. That's when confusion intensified. Millions of viewers encountered fragments of information with no clear context. A single clipped sentence could travel across platforms within minutes. A facial expression from an interview could suddenly become proof of something darker. And the internet rewarded the most emotional interpretation every single time. Meanwhile, longtime supporters of Jakes watched the situation spiral with growing frustration. Many argued that the public was witnessing something deeply unfair, a trial conducted not inside a courtroom, but inside algorithms. To them, this wasn't journalism. It was digital mob psychology. But critics saw things differently. Some questioned whether powerful public figures, especially religious leaders, had been shielded from scrutiny for too long. Others argued that public influence naturally invites public investigation. The debate quickly became larger than T.D. Jakes himself. It became a cultural battle over trust, power, celebrity, religion, and accountability. And the emotional temperature kept rising. Then came another major turning point. Old media clips resurfaced online and spread at terrifying speed. Archived sermons, past interviews, public appearances from years earlier. Internet users began analyzing every word, every pause, every interaction. Some critics claimed certain moments felt suspicious. Supporters countered that people were desperately searching for hidden meaning where none existed. And once again, no verified evidence emerged proving the most extreme accusations circulating online. But emotionally, the damage was already happening. Because reputation isn't destroyed only by facts. Sometimes it's destroyed by doubt. That's what made this controversy so psychologically intense. People weren't simply debating evidence. They were debating perception. And perception spreads faster than truth ever could. As discussion channels exploded with theories, larger media personalities entered the conversation. Podcasts discussed the rumors. Commentary panels debated the ethics of speculation culture. Social media influencers reacted emotionally to headlines without always verifying the source material. The story had become too viral to ignore. And then the internet took things even further. Some users began connecting unrelated scandals and public figures into massive conspiracy narratives. Certain online communities claimed hidden networks existed among celebrities, religious leaders, and powerful elites. It was a familiar pattern in modern internet culture. Take fragments of coincidence, mix them with suspicion, add emotional music, dramatic editing, and vague implications. And suddenly millions believe they're watching a hidden truth unfold. But despite the growing hysteria, an important reality remained unchanged. There was still no official confirmation proving that T.D. Jakes had been convicted of crimes or sentenced to prison. That distinction mattered. Yet online, nuance was disappearing. Some viewers no longer asked, "Is this true?" Instead, they asked, "How much of it is true?" That shift changed everything. Because once public opinion begins assuming guilt first and demanding evidence later, reputations enter dangerous territory. And for religious leaders, the stakes become even higher. Faith-based communities are built on trust, morality, and emotional connection. When controversy surrounds someone in that position, reactions become deeply personal. Some followers felt heartbroken. Others felt defensive. Some quietly distanced themselves altogether. Meanwhile, critics intensified their attacks, arguing that unanswered questions alone justified continued scrutiny. Then came one of the most emotionally charged moments of the entire controversy: public responses. As online discussions grew more aggressive, statements and reactions associated with Jakes and his supporters attempted to push back against misinformation and exaggerated narratives. Defenders emphasized that viral accusations do not automatically equal criminal wrongdoing. But by that point, the internet had already created its own version of the story. And internet narratives rarely slow down once emotions take control. Search trends skyrocketed. Reaction videos multiplied. Comment sections became more hostile. Even neutral observers started asking why the rumors had exploded so intensely in the first place. Was it genuine concern? Political hostility? Religious criticism? Or simply the internet's obsession with watching powerful people fall? That question became impossible to ignore. Because modern audiences are drawn to scandal in almost psychological ways. The bigger the celebrity, the bigger the fascination with potential collapse. Especially when the figure represents morality, authority, or influence. And whether fair or unfair, T.D. Jakes had become trapped inside that machine. A machine fueled by clicks, outrage, speculation, and emotional addiction. But behind all the chaos, another unsettling possibility began emerging. What if the real story wasn't about criminal guilt at all? What if the deeper issue was how quickly the modern internet can transform uncertainty into perceived truth? Because as investigators, commentators, supporters, and critics continued clashing online, a darker realization was beginning to form. The controversy may have revealed something far bigger than one man's reputation. Something about society itself. And what happened next would force people to confront an uncomfortable question. In the age of viral outrage, can truth still survive at all? By the time the controversy surrounding T.D. Jakes reached its peak, millions of people believed they were watching the downfall of a powerful figure unfold in real time. But beneath the viral headlines, beneath the dramatic thumbnails, beneath the endless reaction videos and emotional comment sections, one question still remained unanswered. What was actually confirmed? Because after months of speculation, accusations, online debates, and explosive internet theories, a critical reality still stood firm. There was no verified public evidence confirming that T.D. Jakes had been criminally convicted or officially sent to prison. And yet, for many people online, the rumor itself had already become truth. That may be the most disturbing part of this entire story. Not simply the controversy, but how quickly perception replaced verification. As analysts and commentators revisited the timeline, a pattern became impossible to ignore. Most viral claims gained momentum not because of official documents or court rulings, but because emotionally charged content spreads faster than careful analysis. One dramatic video leads to another. One suspicious theory inspires 10 more. One misleading headline becomes millions of views overnight. And slowly, repetition begins creating the illusion of certainty. Psychologists sometimes refer to this as the illusory truth effect. The idea that people are more likely to believe something simply because they hear it repeatedly. In the digital age, that effect becomes amplified beyond anything previous generations experienced, especially when fear, outrage, morality, and celebrity are involved. That's why the rumors surrounding T.D. Jakes became so explosive. He wasn't just another public figure. He represented influence, faith, authority, success. And modern internet culture has developed a strange obsession with watching influential people collapse. Not always because evidence exists, but because downfall itself has become entertainment. That realization forces an uncomfortable question. Did the public truly want the truth? Or did many people simply want a dramatic story to believe? Because throughout the controversy, there were two realities unfolding simultaneously. The first reality involved confirmed facts. A globally recognized religious leader faced intense online scrutiny and viral speculation. Public debate erupted across social media. Critics questioned him. Supporters defended him. Media coverage amplified the attention. Those things undeniably happened. But the second reality was built almost entirely from interpretation, suspicion, emotional reactions, and internet narratives that often lacked verified evidence. And over time, those two realities became dangerously blurred together. That blur can permanently damage reputations, even when major allegations remain unproven. For public figures, especially religious leaders, perception can become almost impossible to repair once suspicion takes hold. Because doubt leaves scars. Even after headlines fade. Even after trends disappear. Even after people move on to the next controversy. And perhaps that's the true fallout of stories like this. Not prison bars. Not courtroom verdicts. But the invisible prison created by public suspicion. A place where rumors continue echoing long after facts stop speaking. Meanwhile, supporters of T.D. Jakes continued arguing that much of the controversy reflected a larger problem inside internet culture itself. The speed at which audiences rush toward judgment without fully verifying information. Critics, however, insisted that powerful public figures should always face scrutiny and tough questions. And honestly, both sides expose something important. Public accountability matters. But so does truth. Without both, society risks becoming trapped inside permanent outrage. A world where accusations become entertainment and uncertainty becomes profit. That's why this story resonated far beyond one individual. Because it revealed how modern scandals are no longer controlled by evidence alone. They're controlled by algorithms, emotion, virality, and the human appetite for shock. The internet doesn't reward patience. It rewards intensity. The louder the accusation, the darker the theory, the more emotionally explosive the claim, the faster it spreads. And somewhere inside that chaos, nuance disappears. What makes this even more unsettling is how ordinary viewers become emotionally pulled into the cycle without realizing it. People begin searching for hidden clues, reading into body language, interpreting silence as guilt, treating speculation as investigation. Eventually, the audience stops consuming the story and starts participating in it. That may be the real lesson hidden underneath the controversy surrounding T.D. Jakes. Not whether one man was innocent or guilty of internet accusations, but how fragile truth itself has become in the digital era. Because today, reputations can be shaken by rumors before facts are ever fully examined. And once public opinion turns emotional, correcting misinformation becomes almost impossible. In the end, the story surrounding T.D. Jakes became something much larger than a single controversy. It became a mirror, a reflection of modern culture's fascination with scandal, its addiction to outrage, and its growing inability to separate speculation from reality. And maybe the most chilling part of all is knowing this won't be the last time it happens. Another headline will appear. Another rumor will trend. Another public figure will become the center of viral suspicion. And millions will once again ask the same question before evidence fully arrives. What if it's true? Because in today's world, sometimes the rumor spreads faster than the truth can even stand up. And once that happens, the damage may already be done.